Have you ever felt it? That quiet, unexplainable energy between you and someone special? The kind that doesn't need words yet somehow speaks volumes? Maybe it's in the way his eyes find you across a crowded room, or how his voice softens when he says your name. Maybe it's in those moments when your laughter feels a little lighter around him, or when silence between you feels strangely comfortable instead of awkward. Whatever it is, it's real, and it's powerful. Love doesn't always arrive with fireworks and grand declarations. Sometimes it slips in quietly, through gestures so subtle that they're easy to miss unless you're paying attention. It's in the way he listens to you as if your words matter more than the rest of the world. It's in the small sacrifices he makes without ever mentioning them. It's in the way he looks at you, like you're something rare, something worth protecting. These are not coincidences. They're clues, tiny emotional fingerprints left by a man whose heart is already yours, even if he hasn't found the courage to say it aloud. Psychologists say that true love often begins in silence. Before the first confession, before the first I love you, there's a stage of deep emotional awareness, a phase where feelings are powerful but unspoken. The brain releases oxytocin and dopamine, the same chemicals that create connection and joy, which is why being around the person you love feels so calming yet so thrilling at the same time. This is also why his body, tone, and attention change around you without him realizing it. His behavior becomes a mirror of his emotions, subtle, unconscious, but deeply revealing. You might notice he remembers things you never expected anyone to remember. The way you take your coffee, the story that made you cry, or that one song that reminds you of home. He finds excuses to be near you, not because he's trying to impress, but because your presence brings him peace. He may seem calm on the surface, but if you look closely, his eyes give him away. They soften when they meet yours, linger just a moment too long, and light up when you laugh. That's not coincidence. That's chemistry turning into connection. Real love doesn't shout. It whispers. It hides in body language and attention, in the tiniest acts of care. It's when he protects your feelings, listens without interruption, or notices your mood before you've said a word. These moments are quiet, but they're where the truth lives. In the spaces between words. In the pauses, in the stillness. In this video, we'll explore 12 silent ways he shows he loves you deeply, even if he hides it. These signs are subtle, psychological, and deeply human, the kind of signs you can't fake because they come straight from the heart. So if you've ever wondered whether his feelings run deeper than he lets on, stay with me until the end. By the time we're done, you'll know how to recognize the unspoken language of love, and you may never look at his silence the same way again. His eyes always search for you in a room when a man truly loves you but tries to hide it. His eyes often give away what his words never will. The human face can be trained to mask emotion, but the eyes, those quiet windows to the soul, rarely lie. When you walk into a room, notice how his gaze finds you, even in a crowd. He might not call your name or wave, but somehow, his eyes instinctively seek you out. It's not something he plans. It's an unconscious act, a magnetic pull that draws his attention toward you before he even realizes it's happening. Psychologists call this selective attention, a phenomenon where the mind filters out unnecessary stimuli and focuses on what matters most emotionally. When someone occupies a special place in your thoughts, your brain automatically prioritizes them. That's why even in a noisy, crowded setting, he'll sense your presence. It's like an invisible thread connecting his awareness to you. Sometimes his glance will be quick, just a few seconds too long to be casual. Other times it lingers, soft yet intense, filled with questions he's too afraid to ask. You might catch him looking when he thinks you're distracted, and the moment your eyes meet, he'll often look away, pretending he wasn't staring. That flicker of nervousness isn't disinterest, it's vulnerability. It's the quiet panic of someone whose feelings have escaped the safety of their control. There's a warmth in the way he looks at you that feels different from anyone else's gaze. It's not just physical attraction. It's curiosity, admiration, and quiet longing all at once. When a man's eyes soften every time they meet yours, it means his emotions have deepened beyond the surface. He's not merely observing you, he's studying the details, storing the moments, memorizing the way your face lights up when you smile. You may also notice that his eyes follow your emotions. When you're happy, his face brightens with a subtle smile. When you're sad or quiet, his expression shifts to concern even if he doesn't say a word. This is emotional synchronization, his empathy mirroring your inner world without effort. It's a rare kind of connection that happens when love begins to take root in silence. So when you catch him glancing your way, don't dismiss it as coincidence. That repeated, gentle seeking of your presence is his heart's way of saying, "You matter to me," long before his lips ever will. He remembers the smallest details about you when a man is quietly in love. His memory becomes sharper around you, not because he's trying to impress you, but because his heart is paying attention. He remembers the way you laugh, the story behind your favorite song, how you take your coffee, or that one random thing you said weeks ago when you thought he wasn't listening. Those tiny details that everyone else forgets, he doesn't. And that's not by chance. It's emotion transforming into focus. Psychologists say that when we care deeply about someone, our brain activates what's called emotional salience, meaning anything connected to that person feels more meaningful and therefore becomes easier to recall. Love makes ordinary moments memorable. So, when he brings up something you mentioned only once or surprises you with something you casually said you liked, it's not manipulation, it's connection. His mind is constantly gathering pieces of you, building a quiet map of your world. He notices the small shifts in your tone, your expressions, and even the energy you carry. If you change your hairstyle, wear a new perfume, or choose a different color of nail polish, he'll see it, even if he doesn't always comment. That's because his attention to you is effortless. You've become part of his mental landscape. The more he feels for you, the more these small details matter, not because they're obvious, but because they belong to you. When he recalls something you told him long ago, maybe about a dream, a fear, or your favorite childhood memory, it shows emotional presence. He listens not just to your words, but to what lies beneath them. He remembers what makes you light up and what makes you go quiet. That kind of memory isn't about intelligence. It's about affection. It's how love speaks when it's too shy to say the words out loud. So when he remembers that you love tea instead of coffee, or that rainy days calm you, or that you once mentioned a movie you adore, those are not random acts of thoughtfulness. They are love notes written in memory. Each one says, "I see you, I hear you, you matter." Because in the end, remembering the smallest details isn't about having a good memory. It's about having a full heart. His body language softens. Around you, when a man is truly in love but trying to hide it, his body speaks before his mouth ever does. His body language softens naturally around you, not out of calculation, but from a deep subconscious desire to make you feel safe and comfortable. Even if he's the kind of man who's confident, strong, or reserved with others, something shifts when you're near. His posture relaxes, his tone becomes gentler, and his movement slower. It's as if his entire presence adjusts to match the softness he feels when he looks at you. Psychologists call this limbic synchronization, when two people unconsciously mirror each other's emotional energy. Love calms aggression, relaxes tension, and changes how we physically exist around the person we care about. You might notice he leans in when you speak, angles his body toward you, or subtly mirrors your gestures. These micro movements are powerful nonverbal signs of attraction and trust. His body is telling you, "I feel safe with you. I want you close." Even his eyes and facial expressions reveal this softening. When he looks at you, the muscles around his eyes, known as the orbicularis oculi, tighten slightly, creating that genuine warm look psychologists call a Duchenne smile. It's the kind of expression that can't be faked because it comes from true emotion. His gaze holds warmth rather than intensity. It's focused but not dominating. He's not trying to control the moment. He's simply present in it, fully and quietly. You might also notice how his physical barriers drop. His arms aren't crossed. His shoulders tilt toward you instead of away. If you laugh, he laughs with you. Not loudly, but in rhythm, like his energy is synced to yours. He might touch his neck, adjust his clothes, or fidget slightly. Signs of nervous excitement that appear when emotions are strong but unspoken. And when you speak, he listens differently. His entire body seems to lean into your words. He nods, maintains soft eye contact, and gives you his full attention. That's not casual interest. It's reverence in motion. So when you notice his body language soften around you, when his voice lowers, his gaze lingers, and his movements become gentle, understand this. That's not coincidence. That's affection finding a physical form. His heart may stay silent, but his body, without even realizing it, is already confessing the truth. He finds excuses to be near you. When a man loves you deeply but isn't ready to say it out loud, he'll often let his actions do the talking, especially through his need to be near you. He might not admit it, he might even downplay it, but somehow he always finds a reason to be in your orbit. It could be subtle, showing up at the same place, joining a group activity you're part of, or suddenly taking interest in something you like. These are not coincidences. They're quiet attempts to stay close, without crossing the line of confession. Psychologists describe this as proximity-seeking behavior, a natural instinct that appears when someone feels emotionally drawn to another person. When love begins to grow, the brain releases oxytocin and dopamine, creating a sense of comfort and happiness simply from being around that person. That's why he doesn't need to touch you or talk all the time. Just being near you is enough to make him feel at ease. You may notice he volunteers to help you with things, carrying something, walking you to your car, or sitting next to you when there are plenty of other seats available. He might offer casual reasons, saying, "Oh, I just happened to be passing by," or "I thought you might need help." But deep down, these little excuses are his heart's way of staying connected. He doesn't need grand gestures, just small, consistent moments that keep him in your presence. Sometimes he'll linger even when the conversation ends. Maybe he waits a little longer before leaving, or finds a way to continue the chat about something ordinary just to make the moment last. He'll notice your schedule, your habits, and find ways for your paths to cross naturally, or at least make it look that way. It's never about control or obsession. It's about comfort and belonging. Being near you brings him peace even if he never says a word. If you pay attention, you'll see it. The way he always seems to appear at the right time, how his energy seems to find you in a crowd. Love doesn't always announce itself through words. Sometimes it just quietly moves closer, so when he keeps finding excuses to be where you are, know that it isn't random. It's his heart saying, "I just feel better when you're near." He listens closely. Even when you don't notice, when a man truly loves you, even if he's keeping it quiet, his listening changes. It's no longer passive or polite. It's intentional, deep, and genuine. He listens not to reply, but to understand you. He pays attention to your tone, your pauses, and the emotions between your words. When you talk, he isn't just hearing what you say. He's absorbing who you are. Every story, every thought, every offhand comment becomes something he remembers because, to him, your voice is more than sound, and it's connection. Psychologists call this active emotional listening, a form of empathy that emerges naturally when someone cares deeply. It means he's attuned to your inner world, picking up on subtleties that others might overlook. When you say you're fine, he can tell whether you actually are. When your laughter sounds different, he senses it. And when you share your worries, he listens with patience, not judgment, because his goal isn't to fix you, but to feel with you. You'll notice he remembers things you never expected him to. The names of your friends, your favorite movie, the dream you mentioned months ago, he stores them quietly. When he brings them up later, it might surprise you. But that's the sign of someone who listens from the heart. He's paying attention because your words matter to him. He doesn't interrupt you to shift the topic or turn the conversation toward himself. Instead, he nods, leans in, and makes you feel heard. His body language stays open, his eyes stay focused, and his responses are thoughtful. That's not performance, it's care. He's creating a safe space where you can speak freely, knowing that your words land softly. What's even more beautiful is how he remembers the unspoken things. Your moods, your silences, your subtle shifts in energy. If you're quiet one day, he notices. If you seem off, he checks in. Not because he's nosy, but because he feels it. Love makes a person sensitive to another's emotional rhythm, even when words are missing. So when he listens that way, when he makes you feel like your thoughts actually matter, even in the smallest moments, understand that it's love in its most genuine form. Real affection doesn't always shout. Sometimes it simply listens and remembers everything your heart ever said, even in silence. He protects your feelings in subtle ways. When a man loves you deeply but keeps it to himself, his care often shows in quiet, protective gestures, not the dramatic kind that make headlines, but the soft, invisible ones that reveal genuine emotion. He guards your feelings as if they're fragile treasures, even when no one else notices. He chooses his words carefully around you, avoids teasing that might hurt, and pays attention to how you react. It's not about being overly cautious. It's about respect wrapped in affection. Psychologists refer to this as emotional safeguarding, a natural instinct that emerges when someone feels attached and empathetic toward another person. It's a sign that he's tuned into your emotional world. When he senses that something might upset or embarrass you, he steps in subtly, maybe by changing the topic, giving reassurance, or simply staying close without saying a word. He's not trying to control your feelings. He's trying to protect them because your comfort genuinely matters to him. You might notice it in the little moments, the way he defends you when someone makes a harsh comment, or how he gently disagrees without making you feel small. He doesn't let his ego win in arguments with you. He listens, softens his tone, and tries to understand your side. That's not weakness, that's love in its most mature form. Real love doesn't demand power. It offers peace. Sometimes his protection shows in silence. He might hold back opinions that could hurt you or walk away from situations that might cause conflict. When you're stressed or upset, he knows when to give you space and when to stay close. This quiet emotional intelligence is one of the clearest signs of affection. It shows he's not thinking only of himself, but of you first. He also remembers what makes you uncomfortable and avoids repeating it. If he knows certain topics, jokes, or environments make you uneasy, he adjusts naturally without needing to be told twice. That's not habit. That's love's mindfulness at work. So when you notice that he goes out of his way to make sure you feel safe, understood, and unhurt, even in the smallest interactions, understand this. He's not just being kind. He's showing love in one of the purest ways possible. Because when a man truly cares, protecting your heart becomes instinct, not obligation. He mirrors your energy without realizing it. When a man truly loves you but tries to keep it hidden, his body and behavior often reveal the truth through something psychologists call mirroring, the unconscious act of reflecting another person's tone, gestures, and energy. He doesn't plan it. It just happens naturally. When you smile, he smiles. When you lean forward, he leans too. When you cross your legs, he might do the same without realizing it. It's not imitation, it's emotional alignment. His subconscious is saying, I'm connected to you. Mirroring is one of the most powerful nonverbal signs of attraction and emotional resonance. Psychologists explain that when two people feel safe and connected, their nervous systems begin to synchronize. Breathing patterns, posture, even subtle micro-expressions start to match. It's the body's way of bonding, of saying, we're on the same wavelength. So when he mirrors your energy, it's not coincidence. It's biology revealing what his words can't. You might notice this, especially in your conversations. When you're animated and excited, his energy rises too. When you're calm or quiet, he softens with you. His laughter comes more easily when you're happy, and his expressions mirror your emotions almost perfectly. This kind of attunement shows emotional sensitivity. He's not just hearing you, he's feeling you. Even in group settings, you'll sense this invisible sync. If you're standing, he'll find a reason to stand near you. If you sit, he often follows suit. When you shift your focus or direction, his body subtly adjusts to match yours. It's not forced. It's a rhythm his emotions have created, a dance he doesn't even know he's doing. Beyond physical gestures, this mirroring often extends to emotional energy. If you're stressed, he feels uneasy. When you're joyful, he feels lighter. That's emotional contagion. When feelings pass between two people who share a deep, unspoken bond. It's love's quiet language where empathy replaces words. So, when you notice him reflecting your mood, gestures, or pace without realizing it, understand what's happening. His heart and body are already tuned to you. That gentle synchronization isn't something you can fake or force. It only happens when someone feels safe, drawn, and deeply connected. In a world full of noise, mirroring is love's silent echo, his way of saying, I'm with you even without words. 8. He notices when you're not okay. Before you say it, when a man truly loves you, even if he hasn't said it, he develops an intuitive awareness of your emotions. He can sense when something's wrong before you ever speak a word. You might smile and say you're fine, but he notices the slight change in your tone, the way your eyes look a little distant, or how your energy feels heavier than usual. It's not magic. It's emotional attunement. His heart has quietly learned your rhythm. Psychologists explain that when two people share a strong emotional bond, Their brains become more responsive to each other's nonverbal cues. This is known as empathic resonance, a state where one person's emotions subtly affect the other's nervous system. When he loves you, he unconsciously tunes in to your emotional frequency. That's why he senses your sadness even when you try to hide it behind a calm voice or polite smile. You'll notice it in small, tender ways. He asks, "Are you okay?" When you haven't given him any reason to worry. He texts you on the exact day you feel low, or shows up just when you needed someone to talk to. Sometimes he doesn't even ask questions. He just knows that you need quiet company, a gentle word, or space to breathe. That kind of sensitivity isn't typical. It's born out of deep emotional care. Even when he's busy or distracted, a part of him is always aware of you. If you seem off, his mood changes too. Not dramatically, but subtly. He becomes softer, more patient, more careful with his words. That's because your emotional state directly impacts his. Love creates a silent feedback loop where your happiness brings him peace, and your sadness unsettles him. He might not always know what to say, but he'll try to make things better in quiet ways, bringing you your favorite snack, sending a comforting message, or simply sitting beside you in silence. Those gestures might seem small, but they speak volumes. They say, "I see your pain even when you hide it, and I care enough to be here anyway." So when he notices your sadness before you even name it, don't brush it off. That awareness isn't casual. It's the mark of someone whose heart is deeply connected to yours, because when love is real, it doesn't wait for words, and it simply feels, understands, and responds. He makes sacrifices. Without mentioning them, when a man truly loves you, even if he keeps it to himself, you'll notice it in the quiet sacrifices he makes without ever needing recognition. He won't announce them, and he won't use them to earn your affection. Instead, he'll adjust his world in small, meaningful ways just to make your life a little easier, your days a little lighter, and your heart a little more at peace. These aren't grand gestures meant to impress. They're silent acts of love that speak louder than any confession ever. Could the psychologist call this behavior prosocial selflessness, the natural desire to prioritize someone else's well-being because their happiness directly influences your own? When a man is emotionally attached, he doesn't think in terms of me and you. He begins to think in terms of us. That's why he might rearrange his schedule to see you, give up sleep just to talk when you're upset, or put your comfort ahead of his own without expecting anything in return. You might not always notice these sacrifices right away. They're subtle. Maybe he stays quiet instead of arguing when he knows you're tired. Maybe he listens even when he's exhausted or drives across town to help you, even if it's inconvenient. He won't make a show of it because his love isn't about display. It's about devotion. Sometimes the most touching sacrifices are the ones hidden behind small choices, the things he lets go of for your sake. He might avoid places or people that make you uncomfortable, or choose kindness over pride during a disagreement. He might hold back his own frustrations because he doesn't want to add weight to your day. These moments may seem simple, but they reveal a man whose heart is quietly loyal. What makes this kind of love special is its humility. He doesn't need you to notice or thank him. The act itself brings him contentment, because in his mind, caring for you isn't a task, it's a privilege. He finds happiness in your peace and pride in your comfort. So when you realize he's making your life smoother in ways he never talks about, pause for a moment and feel the depth behind it. Love doesn't always speak in grand declarations. Sometimes it whispers through sacrifice. And the man who gives without mention is the one who truly loves without condition. He shows jealousy, but tries to hide it. When a man loves you deeply but hasn't yet confessed it, one of the clearest and yet most carefully hidden signs is his quiet jealousy. It's not the loud, possessive kind that demands attention. It's the subtle flicker in his expression when another man gets too close, the shift in his tone when you talk about someone else, or the way he suddenly grows quieter when the topic makes him uncomfortable. He won't admit it, and he'll even laugh it off if you notice. But beneath that calm exterior lies a mix of care, fear, and vulnerability, the emotions that only surface when someone truly matters. Psychologists describe this as protective jealousy, a natural emotional response that appears when we sense a potential threat to a meaningful connection. It's not rooted in control. It's born from affection and fear of loss. When a man truly loves you, your attention becomes precious to him. Not because he wants to own it, but because it gives him a sense of belonging, of emotional closeness he doesn't share with anyone else. You might notice it in small ways. The way he suddenly joins the conversation when another man is speaking to you, how his body subtly angles toward you, or how he tries to make you laugh again when your attention drifts elsewhere. Sometimes he'll tease playfully, masking his unease behind humor. Other times he'll withdraw, letting silence do what words can't. His restraint isn't indifference, it's respect. He feels the pull of jealousy but refuses to let it turn into possession. This kind of jealousy is usually quiet and inward. He'll think about it later, wondering why he felt that pang, why his chest tightened when he saw you smiling with someone else. Deep down, he knows it's because he loves you, but admitting that truth would mean exposing his heart before he's ready. So instead, he channels it into subtle gestures, checking in on you, being extra kind, or making small efforts to remind you of his presence. True love doesn't hide behind anger or competition. It hides behind care. So when you sense that quiet tension, the kind that lives in his eyes, not his words, know that it's not weakness. It's love trying to stay composed while his heart quietly trembles at the thought of losing something it hasn't even claimed yet. Gang. He opens up emotionally in small moments when, a man truly loves you, even if he's not ready to say it. His emotions begin to slip through in unexpected, tender ways. He may not sit you down and pour out his heart, but in quiet moments he lets you see pieces of his inner world that he hides from everyone else. It might come out during a late-night conversation, when he suddenly talks about his fears, his childhood, or something that still hurts. These moments are never random. They're windows into his heart, and he only opens them for someone he deeply trusts. Psychologists describe this as emotional self-disclosure, a form of vulnerability that signals intimacy and connection. Most men are taught to guard their emotions to appear strong and composed. So when he begins to open up even a little, it means you've created a space where he feels safe enough to be real. He might tell you about his dreams, his regrets, or the things that keep him up at night. And when he does, notice how his tone changes. Softer, slower, almost hesitant. It's the sound of someone revealing the parts of himself he usually keeps locked away. These small emotional openings often happen at unexpected times. A walk, a shared meal, a quiet drive. He won't announce them as confessions. They'll just happen naturally, as if his heart can't help but speak when he's with you. You'll hear it in the way he says, "I've never told anyone this before," or "I don't know why I'm saying this," but those are not casual phrases. They're emotional bridges, and he's choosing to cross them with you. What makes these moments beautiful is their subtlety. He may not cry or use big poetic words, but he shows you who he really is. His insecurities, his hopes, his raw honesty. That's not weakness. It's courage in its purest form. Love at its core is about being seen and accepted, so when he lets his guard down, even briefly, it means you've become that safe place he's been searching for. So don't overlook those quiet confessions or passing remarks that carry emotional weight. They are love's most sincere language, the truth whispered between heartbeats. Because when a man starts opening up emotionally, even in small moments, it's his soul saying what his lips are still too shy to admit. You matter to me more than you know. He looks at you like you're the only one in the world. When a man truly loves you, even if he's too afraid to say it, you'll see it in the way he looks at you. His gaze holds a kind of stillness that words can't describe. It's not just attraction. It's admiration, tenderness, and quiet awe all woven together. When he looks at you, the world seems to fade from his awareness. It's as if, for those few seconds, you are the only thing that exists. That's because love has a way of focusing the heart. It narrows attention to the person who matters most. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as exclusive attention, when someone's emotional and cognitive focus centers around one individual. It happens naturally in deep affection, because your presence stimulates both emotional comfort and excitement. To him, you become a safe place and a mystery at the same time, someone he can't help but watch and want to understand. That's why his eyes linger, not in a way that feels heavy, but in a way that feels gentle, steady, and full of meaning. You'll notice this look in quiet moments, when you're talking about something you love, when you're lost in thought, or when you're laughing without realizing he's watching. It's a look that says he's memorizing you, not your features, but your essence, your gestures, your expressions, your light. Sometimes he'll look away quickly, pretending it was nothing, but the truth is that glance was everything. His eyes were saying what his lips are still too scared to form into words. In that gaze, there's recognition, a silent acknowledgement that what he feels is real and beyond his control. You might catch him watching you when you're not even aware, during those unguarded moments when you're just being yourself, and when your eyes finally meet, there's that small flicker of surprise, maybe even nervousness, because being seen that deeply feels both beautiful and terrifying. Love, in its purest form, doesn't always need words or grand gestures. Sometimes it's found in a single look, the kind that feels like time slows down, like the air changes, like something inside you just knows. So when you catch him looking at you that way, understand this: he's not just seeing you, he's feeling you. And in that moment, even if he never says a word, his heart has already spoken the truth. You are the only one in his world.